What the hell? You put that stupid little baby son this high on the list? God, man, have you lost your freaking mind? What the hell's wrong with you? Hey, it's not my fault that I like this partner so much. So, shut up, and remember, this is my list, okay? Alright, now let's talk about Watt. Watt is a baby little Sparky that you meet after defeating the big lantern ghost in a very dark room. The battle with this coward involves attacking the lantern that contains Watt in order to make the room brighter. After defeating him, you set Watt free. She thanks you and joins your party. Her overall ability is really useful, because there are some rooms in the game that are completely dark. There is no light in sight. That's where her ability comes into place. You can use her to brighten up the room so that you know where the hell you're going. That also means you won't have to bump into any enemies that accidentally run into you, or you accidentally run into them. Her moves in battle are Electro Dash, Power Shock, Turbo Charge, and Mega Shock. Electro Dash, no pun intended, electrifies one enemy, ignoring how big its defense is. Power Shock paralyzes one enemy. Turbo Charge powers up Mario's attack power for a few turns. And Mega Shock is just like Power Shock, except it paralyzes all enemies. Doesn't look so harmless now, does it? This little guy may not seem much, but she is definitely not to be messed with. Don't judge her by her cuteness. Meet Vivian, another partner that used to be a bad guy, but then later became a good guy. Vivian is basically like Lackluster in this game. Why do I say this? Well, remember when I said that Lackluster used to work under the forces of the main bad guy in the game? Well, that's Vivian in a nutshell. Vivian and her sisters are part of a trio known as the Shadow Sirens. They are first seen in Chapter 2 when Sir Grotus sends them to Bogly Woods to capture Mario. Vivian found Flurry's necklace while going to capture Mario. Bedlam, one of her sisters, loses a picture of Mario that they needed in order to capture him. And get this, she blames Vivian for all this and takes away the necklace. There's something that I desperately need to say, and I can't hold it in much longer. Vivian's sisters are exactly like Cinderella's sisters, but worse. I mean, this girl loses something important. She knows that she's the one who lost it, and yet she blames her sister for it? Good God, how does she stand living with these demons? Alright, enough of that, let's get back on track here. You then meet the Shadow Sirens, defeat them, and return the necklace back to Flurry. Later on in Chapter 4, after the fight with Dupless, you lose your identity and are nothing but a shadow. That's when the Shadow Sirens prepare for a plan. They will use an item called the Super Bomb Bomb that will definitely wipe out Mario. However, Emblem loses the item yet again and, just like before, blames Vivian for everything, even though Vivian had nothing to do with it. Vivian is then forced to find the bomb herself while her sisters take a nap. When you return to Twilight Town, you find Vivian looking for the bomb. Mario decides to help her find the bomb. You didn't find the bomb, but it turns out the bomb is broken. Vivian is heartbroken, fearing that she might be punished for life. But luckily, Mario cheers her up. Vivian then decides to repay what you did to her and find your identity back. When you finally reach Dupless, they prepare to fight him again with the other 4 partners that you have. Realizing that she helped out her enemy, Vivian is shocked and decides not to help out Mario. But after 2 turns pass by, Vivian decides to help Mario out since, Mario was the only one who was ever nice to her. After defeating Dupless, the other partners asked why he helped out Vivian, but Mario stands up for her and Vivian joins Mario for good. That's the best decision she ever made. Anything would be better than living with those 2 troublemakers. Her overworld ability is similar to Lady Bow's ability, except she pulls Mario under the shadows rather than just turning him invisible. I always thought that was creative because even though turning people invisible is awesome, I think it's even more awesome hiding up beneath the shadows. Her moves in battle are Shade Fist, Veil, Fiery Jinx, and Infatuate. Shade Fist lets her punch one enemy, possibly setting the enemy on fire. Veil hides Mario beneath the shadows, avoiding all enemy attacks. Fiery Jinx deals damage to all enemies, possibly burning them. And Infatuate confuses all enemies if they are affected. Vivian is a really good character to use throughout the game. She's without a doubt my favorite female partner in the Paper Mario games. Sorry other female partners, but Vivian's gets the big win for me. Our next partner is none other than the Mushroom Kingdom's mail carrier, Parakuri. As you might have guessed, yes, he's a busy person. He spends about every single minute in his time delivering letters to people all over the Mushroom Kingdom. You know, since that's his job. And yes, that's why he's called Parakuri, because he's a mail carrier. He delivers mails. You first see him at the beginning of the game delivering Princess Peach's party invitation. Then you meet him face to face at Mount Rugged, telling you that he missed 3 of his letters located somewhere in Mount Rugged. Once you find his lost letters, he joins your party as a thank you to help out Mario in order to find other letters that he lost. Oh, didn't I tell you? He lost more letters around the Mushroom Kingdom. The good thing is that doing this is optional, so at least that's good. Parakuri's overworld ability allows him to lift up Mario off the ground and be able to carry him to jumps that you can't make. This goes to show that everyone's favorite plumber can't make every single jump. But have no fear, Parakuri is here to help him out. His moves in battle are Skydive, Shell Shot, Airlift, and Air Raid. Skydive lets Parakuri kick one enemy. Shell Shock retreats Parakuri into his shell that allows him to fire himself at an enemy. This is good since there are spikes on some enemies in the game, so you can't damage them unless you have this move. Airlift lets Parakuri lift one enemy off of the battlefield. And Air Raid makes Parakuri fly like crazy, damaging every single enemy. Mail carrier or not, this guy is a joy to use. But if I had to say only one problem with him is that he loves his job a little too much. Who cares? This guy's still awesome. Next up is my favorite partner in the original Paper Mario, Kooper. Holy crap, I love this guy. A Koopa Troopa, but with orange skin and a blue shell. Alright, it's not the most creative thing in the world, but my god, I love Kooper's design. After getting rid of all the fuzzies that stole many Koopa Troopa shells in Koopa Village, you come across Kooper who's trying to get his blue shell back from another fuzzy. After traveling a long way and play a memory game, you give him back his shell. He then wants to join with Mario on his adventure since he loves going on adventures. In fact, it's his dream to become an archaeologist like his childhood hero, Colorado. After accepting Kooper's request, he then becomes the second partner that you get in the game. His overall power allows Kooper to retreat into his shell, allowing Mario to shoot him out short distances, allowing him to activate out-of-reach switches, grab items, and attack enemies. His moves in battle are Shell Toss, Power Shell, Dizzy Shell, and Fire Shell. What do you know? More creative names there, folks. Shell Toss attacks just one enemy. Power Shell is similar to Shell Toss, except it hits all enemies that are on the ground. Dizzy Shell makes the enemies dizzy, and Fire Shell is completely similar to Power Shell, but with an awesome display of fire. So there you all go, my favorite partner from the original Paper Mario, Kooper. I always use this guy the most, despite the fact that he can't attack any enemies in the air, but who cares, I still love this guy. Now, who do we have left? At the number 2 spot, we have none other than Coops. Coops, like Kooper, is a Koopa Troopa, but I think he's better than Kooper for a few good reasons. First of all, Coops kind of resembles me in this sort of way because, well, I love to wear hoodies, and believe it or not, I actually am kind of a shy person, kind of like he is. In fact, that's kind of what Coops is in a nutshell, a shy person. Anyway, Coops is a Koopa Troopa that lives in the city of Petalburg. Before you have the chance to go to another part of town, he stops you and wants to ask you something, but because of his shyness, he leaves. When you're about to go to Hooktail's castle, he stops you yet again and is for sure that he wants to join you on your adventure. He wants to take down Hooktail because his father did so 10 years ago but never returned. He wants to finish what his father started and to become a stronger person. He joins Mario to fight Hooktail, but his girlfriend Koopy finds out what Coops is doing and begs him not to go. However, Coops has made up his mind in order to become stronger. He doesn't go without facing his girl's rage, as he and Mario get hit by Koopy Koop. Inside the castle, Coops finds a skeleton and is for sure that it's his father. He finds a note in the corpse revealing that Hooktail's his weakness, and the letter turns out to be Colorado's father instead of Coops' father.
Oops.
After defeating Hooktail before she dies, she spits out none other than Coops' father, Cooply, who has been living inside Hooktail for 10 years. Cooply reveals that he found the crystal star inside Hooktail and allows Mario to take it. His overworld ability is just like Cooper's, but better. Instead of just firing the shell instantly, you can hold Coops' shell in place until you want him to fire his shell. His moves in battle are a lot different compared to Cooper's. They are Shell Toss, Power Shell, Shield Shell, and Shell Slam. What do you know? More creativity right there. I've already talked about the Shell Toss and Power Shell, so I'll just discuss his other moves. You pretty much already know what those two moves do. So, instead of his other two moves that are exactly identical to Cooper's, we have the Shield Shell, which Coops is able to create a giant Koopa Troopa shell, which can protect Mario for a few turns. And then there's Shell Slam, which is exactly like Power Shell, except it penetrates the defenses of all enemies on the ground. Now, I understand that Cooper is able to make his enemies dizzy, and his Fire Shell move is kind of awesome, but I never liked the Dizzy Shell, and the Fire Shell is just basically like the Power Shell but with fire. As it looks awesome, it doesn't convince me that it's better than the Power Shell. However, Coops' Shell Slam is able to deal good damage to the enemies on the ground and can go through their enemies' defenses. Coops, you're an awesome character, and I'm proud of you. However, you don't even come close to number 1. Even though I like the other 14 partners that I've talked about, well, 13 since I don't like Flurry that much, they don't come close to number 1. The minute I saw this partner, I knew I was going to love it. Ladies and gentlemen, my number 1 favorite Paper Mario partner is the Yoshi Kid. Out of every single Paper Mario partner from both the original and the Thousand Year Door, this is the one I like the most. None of the other partners come close to this little guy's awesomeness and incredibility. The first time you see him is in Chapter 3, where you find a Yoshi egg bouncing around being chased by the hot dog stand owner. After eventually catching it, the owner says you could keep the egg because most people don't like to eat things that move. 2 of the enemies that you face in the Glitz Pit are the Armored Harriers. Their defense is unknown, meaning that you cannot damage them no matter what attack you use with Mario or your sidekick. You must accept defeat or run away in this battle. After the defeat, the egg is hatched into a Yoshi Kid who thanks Mario for saving him from the hot dog stand owner. Here's where the awesome comes into place. You can name the Yoshi Kid whatever you want in the game. That's showing some good signs there. Not only that you can do that, but you can also change its colors. Well, you can't actually change its colors, but its color is mainly depends on how many minutes pass when you save the Yoshi Kid from the hot dog stand owner. He'll be green if 0 to 6 minutes pass. He'll be red if 6 to 9 minutes pass. He'll be blue if 9 to 11 minutes pass. He'll be orange if 11 to 15 minutes pass. He'll be pink if 15 to 18 minutes pass. And he'll be black if 18 to 19 minutes pass. And he'll be white if 19 to 20 minutes pass. If minutes pass before the egg hatches, then the cycle will restart. Sure, the color doesn't affect the Yoshi's power, but it's still awesome to point out. You have to admit that it's really cool to have a different colored Yoshi on your team. However, once the color is revealed, it stays that way for the entire game. Well, until you create a new file. Once you named him and he joins your party, you'll be able to defeat the Armored Harriers. We'll get to why in a minute. His overworld ability is a great one to use. Unlike the original where you have a spin dash in the game, you're forced to walk the entire time in the Thousand-Year Door. That's where his ability comes into place. With his ability, you're able to jump onto his back and get extra walking speed to move a lot faster, as the Yoshi Kid carries you around until you want to get off of him for a while. That's a lot of muscle for just one little Yoshi, you gotta admit. Not only does he give you extra walking speed, but he's also able to use a floater jump-like ability to cross gaps, aka jumps that Mario can't make on his own. So basically, his overworld power is a combination of Power Kari's and Lackluster's overworld ability. Who cares if the combination is just like two partners from the original? I don't, because it's fun to use. Now, let's get into his moves in battle. They are Ground Pound, Gulp, Mini Egg, and Stampede. Ground Pound lets the Yoshi bounce on an enemy. Gulp swallows one enemy and spits it at another. That's why this is useful to defeat the Armored Harriers, because this is the only move that will be able to damage them. Mini Egg allows him to eject eggs and throw them at enemies. If it's successful, it could possibly shrink the enemies. And finally, there's Stampede. He will whistle to summon a herd of Yoshis to attack all enemies, whether they're flying or not. I could go on and on about how much I love using this little guy, but that would be taking way too much time. Bottom line is, I love this guy. I love using him in the overworld, I love using him in battle, and out of all of the 15 Paper Mario partners, he is definitely the one I use the most, and I definitely think that he's the best in my opinion. I'm the Hedgehog Ninja, and I'll see you guys next time.